Welcome to this new video. As you could see in the title, today we are going to talk about semantics. Where are all those who like semantics? Raise your hand. Nobody? Okay, nobody. But I assure you that after this video you will understand it better and you will interested more in know about this. Well, first things first. What is semantics? According to the definition given by Frank Parker and Catherine Riley, semantics is the study of linguistic meaning, and that is the meaning of words, sentences, and phrases. In other words, semantics is part of grammar, focused on meaning and not on the way we write it. Later, I will present some examples with which you will understand better what I'm talking about. To better understand this, let's get in context. On the internet, you can find everything. There, I found the cycle of the Looney Tunes. Actually, it has nothing to do with the cartoon, but it seems to me that it perfectly explains the context of this topic. As you can see in the orange ring, semantics is found, which is our topic today. But note that semantics is within other circle, the yellow circle, which is from pragmatics and other disciplines of linguistics. And in turn, it contains others such as syntax, morphology, phonology, and others. At the bottom, you can read that semantics is about, as we saw before, the study of literal meaning of phrases and sentences. Let's now look at an example. There were 25 head of cattle in the pen. There were 25 heads, or animals. Okay, well, by experience and logic, we know that it refers to 25 cubs, bulls, or whatever, and not only at the head of them. This is an example of how word can have more than one meaning, and this is how semantics works. Now, let's see an example in a sentence. A customer comes to a watch store and asks for the price of one that he likes. How much does the watch cost? To this, the seller responds, $300, sir. The customer response is, wow, I need a new job. Question. What does the customer's current job have to do with the price of the watch? Probably very little or nothing. But again, thanks to the use of reason, logic, and experience, we know that with this phrase, the customer means that he cannot afford it because perhaps the watch is too expensive. This is another example of how semantics works, in this case, in sentences. But does this all have a name? Yes, it has a name. It is called implicature. That is, this phrase has an implied meaning since what the customer really wanted to say is something different. Now let's analyze this term, implicature. The implicature is a way of speaking all too common in fact. It is used in both speaking and reading, with conversation, and it doesn't matter if it's formal context or not. People always use ironic words or phrases to say something, either to tell a joke or to offend someone without saying things directly. In the customers and the watch example above, the customer said, I need a new job, as a funny way of saying that he didn't have enough money to buy it. But the implicature in this case is, I don't have the money to buy it. Thank you. Now, we move on a new subtopic of semantics. In this, the speech acts. British philosopher John Austin explained in his book called How to Do Things with Words that we can use a neurotense not only to say something but also to do it. How is this possible? Is this some kind of telekinesis or superpowers? No, it's actually much simpler than that. Have you ever heard someone say things like, You told me that you will come. Where? Here we have two acts. The language is saying and doing something. Doing. Why? Because when you said you will come, you made a promise. Here we have more examples of speech acts. In the first one, the person says, yesterday my neighbors had a quarrel. In this case, the person is telling something, and of course, he said something. In the following example we have, sorry to ruin your birthday party. Here this person is speaking, and in turn we can say that he is apologizing. In the last example, can I borrow your car please? The person is making a request, and of course, is speaking at the same time. To conclude, today we have studied the most important part of semantics. And we can summarize that semantics is the discipline of linguistics that studies the meaning of words and sentences. Two of the most notable points of semantics are the implicature and the speech acts. The implicature is the implied meaning that phrases and sentences carry but is not said textually, but through phrase that may seem totally out of context. And finally, we have the speech acts. They are that characteristic that some sentences have to do something at the same time it is said. A very clear example of this is a promise, that at the same time that the promise is said, something is also being done. A promise. Well, this has been all for today's video. I hope you like it and you have learned something new. I say goodbye until the next video.